We like to think we're pretty sharp in the modern world. We've got the internet and iPhones, and we're inching closer to cracking the code of nuclear fusion. But here's the thing, people 100 years ago thought they were on the cutting edge too. So did the ones 100 years before them. And honestly, some of our ancient ancestors might have been even more ingenious than we give them credit for, as you're about to find out. So, join us for today's video as we're going to explore 15 of the most abandoned ancient technologies that actually exist. Let's start with number 15, Yi-Xing Septis Mechanical Clock. If mornings are your enemy and alarm clocks your weapon of choice, you owe an odd kind of thanks to a Buddhist monk from 8th century China. Yi-Xing wasn't just a spiritual leader, he was a mathematician and mechanical mind way ahead of his time. His clock didn't have hands or a ticking face, but it tracked time with stunning accuracy. He called it a water-driven spherical bird's-eye view map of the heavens, which, let's be honest, is more poetic than practical. Using water to move a wheel in a controlled 24-hour cycle, the device could mark time visually and audibly, chiming every hour without fail. While it wouldn't blend into your nightstand today, its concept was solid, a continuous motion regulated by flowing water. That idea, centuries old, is what made modern mechanical clocks possible. Yi-Xing may not have gotten global credit, but his influence quietly kept time long before anyone in the West thought of clockmaking as science. Number 14. Ancient Chinese compass. Today, we think of the compass as a tool for explorers and sailors, but the ancient Chinese had an entirely different use in mind. Around 2,400 years ago, they developed a lodestone-based compass, not for navigation but for spiritual alignment. Early feng shui practitioners believed this tool helped harmonize homes by guiding the placement of doors and windows. The magnetic lodestone, shaped like a spoon, was balanced on a bronze plate. Its handle would always point south, thanks to the Earth's magnetic pull. That precision wasn't accidental, it was the result of close observation and craftsmanship. Over time, the idea evolved into a practical navigational aid, but its roots were grounded in cosmic balance, not maps and compasses. Some texts even mention an iron fish that floated in water and pointed south, though no surviving examples remain. The idea that this spiritual device laid the groundwork for world-changing maritime discovery is a reminder that innovation doesn't always start with a destination. It often begins with intention. Number 13. Byzantine fire grenades. The Byzantines didn't just wage war with swords and shields. They introduced something far more terrifying, and they named it fire grenades. These weren't crude or chaotic. They were ceramic canisters, perfectly shaped for throwing, and filled with Greek fire, a weaponized liquid that could cling to surfaces and burn fiercely, even on water. Well, that's super cool, isn't it? Greek fire's composition remains one of history's most closely guarded secrets. Whatever it was made from, it gave the Byzantines a brutal edge in battle. The grenades were first used during the reign of Emperor Leo III in the early 8th century and proved deadly in naval warfare and siege defense. Some were thrown by hand. Others were launched using catapults, exploding on impact and spewing flames across wooden ships or enemy lines. Their effectiveness wasn't just physical, it was psychological. Watching an unquenchable fire swallow an enemy ship would have been enough to break morale. The grenades were compact, deadly, and tactical. And to this day, the true formula behind Greek fire has never been fully recovered. Number 2. Da Vinci Sits helicopter concept. Leonardo never saw his helicopter fly, but his design still floats in the minds of engineers today. 400 years before modern rotorcraft took to the skies, he sketched an aerial screw, a vertical device that spiraled upward using a corkscrew-shaped rotor. His idea was built on the principle of air displacement, theorizing that spinning the helical blade fast enough could lift the machine off the ground. The materials he imagined, starch-hardened linen for the rotor and a hand-powered crank, weren't capable of achieving that lift. But the science behind it, surprisingly sound. In 2020, a group of engineering students recreated a modified version using lightweight composites and a micro-drone platform. It worked. The little craft lifted into the air, validating Da Vinci's vision in a modern context. While he couldn't build it in his lifetime, he clearly understood aerodynamic fundamentals long before the Wright brothers. His helicopter was less about practicality and more about possibility, and that's what keeps it relevant 5 centuries later. Number 11. Roman hypocaust in Bonn. Long before gas heaters and radiators, the Romans had their own way of keeping rooms warm, the hypocaust, and one of the best preserved examples was found beneath the city of Bonn in Germany. This ancient underfloor heating system used a series of tile pillars to support a raised floor, creating a hollow space where hot air could circulate. The heat came from a furnace located in an adjoining room, and the warm air would flow beneath the tiles, rising through vents in the walls. What makes the Bonn hypocaust so exceptional is that the original Roman floor is still intact, resting atop those same ancient pillars. The structure is thought to have been part of a villa rustica, a countryside estate belonging to a wealthy Roman family. Today, archaeologists haven't yet entered the chamber directly. Instead, they've used robotic tools to gather footage. For now, the hypocaust is sealed beneath a protective layer of liquid soil, but once opened fully, it's expected to shed more light on how ancient engineers mastered indoor climate control. Number 10. Buton Palace Fortress. Well, everyone on this earth knows the Great Wall of China, but what most people don't know is that the Buton Palace Fortress deserves just as much attention. Located in Baobao on Sulawesi Island, Indonesia, this fortress is an absolute colossus. It spans over 2 miles with a consistent wall thickness of 6 feet and an average height of more than 12 feet. It's officially recognized by the Guinness World Records as the largest fortress on Earth. Construction began in the 16th century under Sultan Buton III, but it was completed during the reign of Sultan Buton V. What makes this place even more fascinating is the unconventional building material, yes, limestone blocks, but fused together using a mix of egg whites, seaweed, lime, and clay. That ancient glue has held up for centuries. The structure wasn't just defensive, it also served as a royal residence, administrative hub, and symbol of regional strength. It's one of those forgotten engineering marvels that survived because it was overbuilt and beautifully so. Number 9. The Azanoi Sundial. In 2022, archaeologists at the ancient Roman city of Azanoi in western Turkey uncovered a rare find, an intact marble sundial. Though the city once flourished as a cultural and commercial hub, no other sundials had been recovered from the site until this one. Standing about 18 inches tall and wide, the sundial includes finely carved acanthus leaves and animal paw motifs, showing both artistic flair and functional craftsmanship. Its inscriptions remain clearly legible, and the structure itself is largely undamaged, making it an exceptional survivor of time. The sundial would have been installed in a public area like the agora or a temple courtyard. It wasn't just a tool, it was a civic fixture. Timekeepers assigned to it would read the shifting shadows and announce the time allowed, guiding everything from religious observances to market schedules. That this is the only known sundial in Azanoi adds to its significance. It's a rare, beautiful remnant of how ancient people lived, organized, and understood the hours of their day. Number 8. Newspaper Rock. In San Juan County, Utah, a massive sandstone wall silently holds one of the most visually rich and historically complex records in North America. Known as Newspaper Rock, it features over 650 petroglyphs etched across its dark, varnished surface. These markings, some clear, others abstract, were created over a span of more than 2,000 years by multiple cultures, including the Archaic, Basket Maker, Fremont, Ancestral Puebloan, Navajo, and even early Anglo settlers. The Navajo name for the site, Say-Hain, translates as the rock that tells a story. And that's exactly what it does. You'll find everything from human figures and birds to horned creatures and symbolic forms whose meanings have been lost with time. While some images appear to depict everyday life, others seem ceremonial or cosmic in nature. Whether it's a message board, a spiritual canvas, or a timeline of survival, one thing's clear: this isn't just rock art. It's a visual archive of shifting belief systems, generations, and lives lived out in the canyons of the American Southwest. Number 7. The ancient Chinese seed drill. Jethro Tull may have a rock band and a spot in Western history books, but crediting him as the inventor of the seed drill is just historically lazy. Thousands of years before Tull came along, Chinese farmers were already using seed drills to efficiently plant crops. These ancient devices allowed for even distribution and proper soil coverage, boosting yields long before anyone in Europe thought to organize farming methods. We can't pinpoint the exact moment of invention, but depictions of early seed drills date back over 3,000 years. And by 256 BCE, their use was documented as part of the Dujianyi irrigation system. The innovation even spread to Japan, where cattle-drawn versions appear in 1,000-year-old drawings. Tull may have improved the design using gears and metal parts, but he didn't originate the idea. The truth is, agricultural breakthroughs didn't begin in the West. They were already ancient history in China, an overlooked chapter in a story too often told from only one side. So the Chinese were smart. Number 6. Roman baths at Merida. In the ancient Roman city of Augusta and Merida, Spain, archaeologists uncovered a residence that redefines domestic luxury. Known as the House of the Amphitheater, this 2,000-year-old complex came with baths that rival public thermae. Though it may have served multiple families or elite gatherings, the baths themselves were expansive and surprisingly ornate for a private structure. Mosaic floors, marble wall panels, and traces of painted frescoes remain visible, offering a rare look at upper-class Roman leisure. The underground system's hypocausts and drainage networks were built for serious functionality, channeling hot air to heat the water in rooms. This wasn't a casual washroom, it was a statement of status and comfort. There's evidence the baths were also used as social hubs, possibly even party venues where conversation flowed as freely as the warm water. Today, the site is part of the UNESCO-recognized archaeological ensemble of Merida, standing as a luxurious snapshot of Roman life beyond the battlefield or Senate. It tells a quieter story, one of ritual rest and refined indulgence. Number 5. Borobudur Temple. The Borobudur Temple in Magelang, Indonesia, is a stone giant draped in mystery. Built in the 8th century, it's made of more than 180,000 cubic feet of volcanic stone, all laid out in a massive step pyramid design. The legend says monks built it by hand, an entire army of them. That's hard to believe when you stand beneath its towering terraces. The temple is decorated with over 500 Buddha statues and carved panels that reveal stories from Buddhist Java. It's a spiritual labyrinth and architectural wonder. But then, around the 14th century, it was abandoned. For 500 years, it sat in silence, surrounded by jungle, overlooked by the world. And here's the kicker. Despite being surrounded by active volcanoes and frequent earthquakes, the structure didn't crumble. It held. We still don't know exactly how it was built or how it survived untouched for so long. It's not just a temple, it's a survival story carved in stone. What do you think about it? Number 4. The Pont du Gard Aqueduct. The Pont du Gard in southern France is more than a Roman aqueduct, it's a monument to precision. Built in the 1st century CE, this 3-tiered bridge once delivered over 8 million gallons of water a day to the Roman city of Nemesis, now modern-day Nimes. What makes it extraordinary isn't just its scale, it's the gradient. The Romans engineered a drop of less than half an inch for every 600 feet, a level of accuracy that still impresses modern engineers. Constructed from limestone without mortar, its stones fit so tightly that it survived centuries of floods, erosion, and neglect. Though it fell out of use by the 6th century, the aqueduct remained intact enough to serve later as a toll bridge, and now stands restored as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its 160-foot height and graceful arches reflect the elegance and might of Roman design. Far from a ruin, the Pont du Gard still commands awe, not just for its beauty, but for the intelligence that holds it together. Number 3. The true origins of the Archimedes screw. Archimedes is often praised for inventing the screw pump, but credit where it's due, that genius belonged to someone else. When Archimedes encountered the device in Egypt around 234 BCE, it was already in use. He simply described it, preserving knowledge of a tool that had likely been working the Nile irrigation for generations. Its exact origins are lost, though an Assyrian inscription linked to King Sennacherib, who lived 500 years before Archimedes, suggests it may have roots in Mesopotamia. Regardless of who built it first, the screw pump is brilliant in its simplicity. It uses a rotating spiral to raise water, defying gravity without pressurized systems. It's even rumored to have powered the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, though proof remains elusive. What isn't up for debate is its durability. The same core concept is still used in water treatment and agriculture today. It's hard to imagine a world where we forgot the name of such a revolutionary engineer, but here we are, still guessing who really invented one of history's most enduring machines. Number 2. The flushing toilets of the ancient world. Toilets don't usually get the spotlight in history, but they should, especially when we're talking about flushing toilets that existed thousands of years ago. While we can't say for certain who invented the first one, evidence suggests that flushing systems may have existed in ancient India as far back as 4,000 years ago. What we do know for sure is that the Palace of Knossos in Crete had one around 700 BCE. The system wasn't complex, a combination of earthenware pans and running water, but it worked. By the time the Romans entered the picture, public toilets had become communal spaces where people sat side by side, chatted, and used a shared sponge on a stick to clean up afterward. That sponge was rinsed and reused, a detail that likely inspired the phrase "getting the wrong end of the stick." It's easy to overlook these early innovations, but they laid the groundwork for modern sanitation. The fact that these systems existed so long ago says a lot about how clever and resourceful our ancestors really were. Number 1. Herrensitz steam engine. When most people hear steam engine, they think of 19th century trains, but the first known steam-powered device, that dates all the way back to the 1st century, thanks to Heron of Alexandria. Building on earlier work by the inventor Ctesibius, Heron created the Aeolipole, a hollow metal sphere mounted on an axis with 2 bent pipes. As steam escaped through the pipes, the sphere rotated rapidly, driven by the force of the steam alone. It was the first recorded example of jet propulsion. Heron's steam engine didn't power anything major. It was mainly used to amuse temple visitors. Still, it showed potential far ahead of its time. What's even wilder is that 1,500 years later, Ottoman polymath Taqi al-Din independently sketched out a similar design in 1577, unknowingly reinventing Heron's idea. While neither design revolutionized industry, they proved that steam power wasn't a modern invention, it just took the rest of the world centuries to catch up. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.